Alright. Oh god. Camera. Still haven't bought a new tripod all these years. Anyway, so that's the fan. So I guess I'll just go through Monsterpalooza 2023. Finally back, finally did it. Couldn't go last year because I didn't have a job then. Now I have a job and so we're good and we can do things again and have fun. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go through like the entire weekend, so not just including Monsterpalooza stuff. So first, before we even did Monsterpalooza, because Monsterpalooza, drink every time I say the name of the con, starts in the evening, Friday evening, which is great for someone like me who's visiting, because then I can use the day to like do a bunch of shit and then end the day by doing the con, and then like, haha, fun times. Anyway, enough gesturing. So actually, before we went to the con, we went to the Academy Museum, the museum for the Oscars and all that stuff. And that was actually pretty cool, since I am a museum worker now. I got in for free, I got my lovely museum creds and all that stuff. So it's actually a pretty cool museum. Obviously, if you're a huge fan of movies, fan of cinema, that kind of stuff, of course you'll like it. A lot of stuff, I pretty much spent the entire time just kind of being like, Paul's like, personal tour guide, which tends to be the case anytime I go to a museum anyway. But definitely with the movie one where it's like, this movie's about that, and I'm like a kid who, was like showing their parents on like, the parent-teacher night or something, and you're like, look at that, that's my death, look at, the crayon box you got me, it fits perfectly inside, like that kind of stuff. I'm a grown-ass adult. Anyway, so, the museum was great. From the size of the museum, I thought, in all honesty, I thought there'd be more to it, I thought I would see more of it. This is me just being really picky as that kind of person, because I'm the kind of person to be like, I want to see more, But anyway, currently there's like a retrospective kind of thing on black cinema, which was great, and it was funny because when we walked in, they were like, this way to the entrance. As we're walking in, I said to Paul, do you think they're gonna dress blackface? And he goes, nah, I don't know, I don't, maybe they're gonna, like, keep it kind. And we walk in, and then one of the first things you see is, like, a fucking, like, dude, like, in blackface, like, dancing. And and then you see, like, the makeup tin that says black on it. It also says minstrel on it. I was like, oh my god. I mean, I get it. That was the thing back in the day, and that was fine, but oh my god. And I just, like, looked down and I went, alright, they addressed it. They did. Okay. I mean, it was good that was, like, the first thing they mentioned. They're like, hey, and then we see, like, Birth of a Nation stuff. We're like, okay, does it get better? And then things labeled colored. We're like, okay, I forgot. Things don't get better that quickly. What is the world I'm living in, I also wish that the exhibit was just slightly a little bit longer, but it had, like, there's a bit of a time frame with the black cinema, so it doesn't go all the way to current time, so you don't see, like, it leads to, like, Jordan Peele winning, like, an Oscar and stuff like that for a horror film, but either way, they also had a thing about Boys in the Hood, so much great stuff. Anyway, like the museum, all that stuff. Anyway, about Monsterpalooza, so we did all that fun stuff. I even, God, I walked down Hollywood Boulevard, actually, before that, we went to Amoeba afterwards. I had a list of stuff I had to get, and I couldn't find most of it. It's fine because, vinyl isn't something that gets pressed like a bajillion copies like they used to do with CDs. But I did find at least one on my list, which is Lorna Shore's newest album, Pain Remains. It's like just... It's some forest. I mean, this is probably some wooded area in Jersey, since the boys are from Jersey. Oh, God. Fun fact, because this is obviously, vinyl and, very delicate, I packed it in my carry-on, so it wouldn't go like, in my check-in thing. And TSA, LAX TSA had to send this this specifically through the scanner a second time. You know, I separated everything, you know, my computer, electronics on one bin, my shoesies, you know, and my hat and stuff in another, my backpack, you know, the duffel bag this was in. And then I suddenly hear, whose bag is this? And I was like, it's mine, you know. And they're like, anything fragile in it? And I'm like, bro, I'm like right in front of you. Why are you screaming? And I was like, yeah, there's a vinyl in there, you know, unzips it, of course, first thing you see. And the guy's like, we're gonna have to send this through, blah, 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 you know. Freaking, oh, well, it's a little ding there, so thank you. Puts it in the tray, puts, you know, my duffel bag separately, another tray, sends it through again, and I'm standing there like, tum-de-tum-tum-tum. You know, good thing I always leave early for the airport, because guess who always gets randomly selected? Flying to LA, I got like most of my shit checked out. The guy went through my backpack, looked at my laptop, looked at my camera, looked at like all that stuff. He found like my sewing needles and like gave me like a look like, I thought you said you didn't have any sharp objects. I was like, there's sewing, what am I gonna fucking just, you know, like, what, bro, Jesus. Anyway, so, you know, to make a very cheesy joke, I guess this is very metal if it went through and it, you know, whatever. I don't know what would have it, like, had rung up, like, in the thing, like, you know, I don't know, man, like my makeup kit on the way there got rung, like, you know, got hit. Oh my god. There's schmutz on there. Great. I'm got to clean this. There's some schmutz on. But anyway, it's one of my favorite albums. That came out, you know. But anyway, so yeah, we went to Amoeba. After Amoeba, I was like, okay, I'm not one really for like the Hollywood Walk of Fame and all the Hollywood Boulevard BS. But I was like, Guillermo del Toro has a star. I have to see the star. So we went, you know, for it. And on the way, you know, there, we encountered other stars and all that stuff, but it was like pretty far. It's like right across the Chinese theater in front of like this like random plushie store is where his star is. But my god, is Hollywood Boulevard filthy, and I'm a New Yorker. You know, I'm just like, yeah, I don't like, did they not do this in LA? Did not do the, you know, they don't hose it down, you know, they don't hose down the sidewalk thing that they do here in New York, where they, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't, you know, I guess because, like, I mean, it has finally been raining in LA, but previously, I guess with, like, water, like, saving water, y'all don't do that. But I don't know, I'm just like a broom, a push broom, hire one of those many people sleeping in tents to, like, sweep. I don't know, man. Like, I'm like, yo, this is true. I'm like, yo, we went blocks. And I was like, this shit is filthy. Like, filthy. You know? There's no H in that word. Filthy. I was like, Jesus Christ. And again, I'm a New Yorker. I have seen things on the subway. I have seen things. I have smelled things on the subway. And I was like, this is dirty. You know? Anyway. So yeah, we saw Guillermo del Toro's star, which is exactly what I needed to see. So then we headed back. We finally got to Monsterpalooza. By the time we got into Monsterpalooza, since Fridays are a short day, because it's like at the end of the day, I was like, okay, I literally was like, I don't even care right now what the show floor looks like. I don't even care who else is there. I have to go to Doug Jones's, like, signing booth. I have to go to Doug Jones's signing booth. We met him back in 2019. Oh god, burpage. Met him back in 2019. It just so happens, not even planned on it, because he even said, oh, I can't go. I'm, you know, filming for Star Trek. Understandable, dude. When am I gonna be like, you have to be there, you know? And that was a year that we're like, hey, let's just bring our Hellboy costume, you know, to Monsterpalooza. Makes sense. You know, I got the whole prosthetic shit going on with Paul. I'm the Angel of Death. You know, people should be able to at least appreciate, you know, the insanity. It is Monsterpalooza. We are monsters. Yada huda fucking ha. It's Guillermo del Toro stuff, for the love of God. I know it's Mike Mignola, but bitch. You know? and we like, and it was funny because it's like we get there, you know, on that Saturday, and like the moment we walk in, it was like people are like, "Dad, Dad," like screaming. They're like, "Yo, you know," like people are like, "Can we get your picture?" And then while we're getting your picture taken, someone else would jump in and be like, "You know, Doug is here," and we're like, "What?" And I'm just like, "He said he wasn't gonna be here." People were like, "It's that way," so we like walk to whatever direction people were pointing us, get stopped for another picture. Someone else is like, "You know, Doug's here. It's that way." Like. Step of the way, and then like we get to the part, and like, you know, the man is tall. The man is very tall. I was in freaking platforms. Paul is tall himself. You know, we're tall people. We get there, I see him, even with like that shit, I can still see him, and it was like the parting of the Red Sea. Like people saw us. I mean, I had, you know, that costume, I have 6-foot wings, you can't miss me. You know, I always tell people, like, if you can't see me during a convention, especially when I plan on the big ones, and it's like, I think you need to get your eyes checked, you know? Anyway, so like we saw him, he's like talking to someone, and people just were like, "Go, there he is, go!" And we're like, "Ah," you know. I'm like, you know. We get there, and then it was just like, you know, he spoke to us for a bit as always. Turn around to take a picture, and it was like paparazzi again. I'm glad I had that thing on, because that shit was like, you know. But anyway, we had him, you know, sign, you know, the photo of our first meeting, and he was just like, "Oh my god," you know, he's like, "Now I can't walk, you know, the convention floor anymore." That was back in 2019. I'm like, "That's fine with me. I got my experience. I don't care." You know, I got my lovely experience. I got our photos, our multiple photos now, and he's, God, he is just the sweetest fucking man. You know, like when people say like, don't meet your heroes and stuff, there are a few that you should meet, and god damn, Doug Jones is one of them. He is so nice, and I've been doing a lot of these like signing and autograph stuff since 2021, because like while people started to drop like a hat, you know, during lockdown, I was like, okay, before I was like, I can meet, you know, all these freaking, you know, whatever, slasher people, whatever, whatever, but then I was like, oh no, now I'm like, everyone's old, anyway, but I started, you know, doing these signings things since like early 2021, and like everyone I've met has been amazing. You know, I haven't had a bad experience. But, like, Doug Jones is just so nice. Like, he really takes his time and, like, speaks to everyone and talks to everyone, you know. It's not like this whole, like, thanks for your money, move on, fuck it, you know. Let's see it, you know, that kind of stuff. And mind you, I got into his line Friday evening. Whatchamacallit, got into his line, and then probably 10-20 minutes later, they were like, "Oh, this line is capped. No one else could be in this line." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, like I was just, you know, very much that. And I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." So, but yeah, he's so nice. He makes sure he like talks to you, at least just be like, "You good?" and all that stuff. Very lovely. Other people, it's just kind of like, and mind you, I you know, met other people where I'm just silent and I just like watch them sign, because I just don't, sometimes I just don't even know what else to say, because it's like everyone says the same thing. "You're great. What's your next movie? I can't wait for," you know, like you want to have like a, I don't know, you want to be a little bit more personable, you a little bit more, you know, your own thing, instead of just being like, "You're great," you know. Anyway. And then he also does, like, if you do a picture with him, he does, like, 3 fun pictures. You know, you do the normal one. He did the little funny hands, you know, it's Doug Jones, it's all about the hands. And then it's we did the third, like, you know, whatever one, because, you know, I had to learn his handography for that goddamn costume. But anyway, so that was Friday. It was great. I was on a high. I was like, ah, you know, all that stuff. Saturday comes. Oh my god, stressful as fuck. Spending, you know, 2 to 3 hours, like, 2, what am I lying, 3 hours, 3 hours, putting this, like, appliance on Paul. I am not the best at silicone, I'm not, and everyone knows, silicone is not that easy to work with, and I went through so much, like, speed bumps to get this, prosthetic, like, you know, the way I wanted to, and all this stuff, like, it could have been done, you know, like, by the end of April, and then May could have been time for me to work on the costume I was gonna wear for Saturday, but I ended up not wearing a costume because I was like, you know what, his thing is the focus. But anyway, I did American Werewolf in London on Paul, the whole shebang, you know, all that stuff. And I was just, I was a wreck. I put it, I glued it on him. Initially, there was some issues with the glue because, like, even, like, the first piece, because it was 3 pieces I put on him, was a cheek. It was the cheek piece, the big old face scar, and then the neck piece. And this piece, like, the back part of it just could not stay. It just kept peeling off. I'm like, why? Just glue down. I have the good glue. Like, get down. Anyway, so that was a lot of it. And then it was all this stuff. He didn't, like, it was just, like, a lot of speed bumps throughout that, like, morning, early afternoon. And put it all on, and then once I had it all glued down finally, try to get the seams, the edges as good as possible. Still, believe me, they're not that good, and once I did that, then comes, my, the thing I'm the best at, which is painting. So did that, color matched, but again, that's the easy part for me. Color matching, painting, that's the easy part for me. So when I got to that, I was like, done, bum, 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 match to his, like, skin complexion, da-da-da. And then comes the part where a lot of people, love to do, which is putting the blood. Put on all the blood, and then put on the chunky blood, and then put on the liquidy blood. I didn't record, the makeup, like, the application process, because I knew I was going to be really stressed out working on it, so I didn't also want, like, the thought of, like, a camera on me the whole time also being, like, an additional stress. Plus, like, I move around so much when I'm doing the makeup, there probably would have been, like, 50% to 75% of the time where my dumbass was in front of the camera rather than you actually seeing the application happening. So that also would have been a waste. And so I was like, no, I also, wanted to concentrate. Anyway, put it all on him, made him all gooky and all that stuff. He pops on, the freaking jacket that I also bloodied up, which in in retrospective, I should have bloodied up more of the inside of the hood because that was showing more. Who cares? No one really cared about that. We headed to the con, and then immediately when we got out of the elevator and we're, like, walking through the lobby, you can just notice, like, conversations got kind of quiet, like, and then we're, like, walking down the street because we're really right around the corner from the convention center, and it was just like you could notice, like, traffic was, like, slowing down around us, all that stuff, because we were just like, is this guy okay? I made sure, like, throughout the day, it wasn't gonna look dry at any time. It was gonna remain moist and juicy, not words you really want to say about woundage, but yeah, so we got into the con. It was great. It was very well received, which I was very glad, because I was just a nervous wreck the entire day, just being like, pretty much it was like, we're done, we'll do it live, like, we'll just go, let's just fucking go in the con, we get there, and it was very well received, which, again, I'm very glad, because, my god, stress as fuck. I'm much better with foam latex, I'm way better at that, like, Jesus Christ, look at, like, when I did Wharf on Paul, that was fucking amazing, but anyway, yeah, so, again, that was well received. I really liked it. Oh, got to meet, Freddy vs. Jason, Ken Kickinger, got to meet him. I initially was going to meet him at Horror Hound, but he had to cancel last minute. Like, what, am I going to be mad at the guy? So I was glad I was able to meet him there, at Monsterpalooza, and my hair is getting all over the place. So, kudos to that. Also, I bought stuff. Let me just go through the stuff I bought. Oh, this is just CBD stuff from a dispensary. I have chronic pain because everything hurts and I'm dying, But anyway, what else did I buy? Okay, so I bought some brushes. Oh my god, this is my Monsterpalooza haul. Oh my god. Alright, so I stopped by Delum and got a new Stomper brush. That's where, you put your prosthetic down and you use this to literally stomp on it so it stays down, so it doesn't stick to the brush, but also doesn't stick to your hands, all that stuff. The one I have is falling apart. I initially did not see them there, and so I was like, okay, I guess I'll order online. And then on Sunday, they were, like, there, and I was like, where were you? Anyway, speaking of more brushes, I went to Titanic Brushes and got this lovely kind of fluffy kind of, it'll be more for like straight beauty makeup, but you can really, do whatever the fuck you want. Anyway, then I got this effects one from Titanic, which is the splatters. You got the big pew, pew, splatter, you got the small pew, pew, splatter. Oh yeah, I went to, God, what are their name? Oh yeah, the G-Rex, the Grex airbrush thingy. My nozzle broke forever ago. I have those little fetus squishies. When I went to go spray, like when I went to go paint them, after I made all of them, I went to go spray, and then the paint like popped off, and I had paint all over me, and I was like, ah! Good thing I have a second airbrush, which that was actually my initial one. This is my secondary airbrush. I just like using it more because it's like a trigger more than like a because I got the Dequay vein, and that hurts, the repetitive motion, it hurts. I mean, I really have to go see my doctor again. But anyway, I got myself a new nozzle. I'm spitzing because this light is in my face. Oh, I went to the PPI booth. I got this mini deep tone, again, more, so then I have more colors to work on Paul. So they don't have to mix as much, because pretty much, like, the dude is, like, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and then this on some parts. But yeah, this is more colors than the dark skin tone I have. That made it sound like the dark skin tone I have. Anyway, oh yeah, speaking of PPI booth, here's the rest of it. I got new adhesive. So normally I use Telesis 8, and now I got the Telesis 9. So hopefully, I mean, maybe my adhesive is old, that does happen, but adhesive does it here. Adhesion. I had straight C's in English, okay? So anyway. So hopefully next time I'm gonna do more silicone stuff. Oh god, burping. Excuse me. I could do better. Anyway, I went to Simon Lee's booth, and I got one of his weird little thingies, one of his little sculpty doohickeys. I'm gonna paint it. I don't know what type of way I'm gonna paint it. Like, I don't know. It's a pretty good scratcher, Anyway, but yeah, met Simon Lee again. He's really chill. He remembered me. I was like, oh, what? He's like, didn't I see you at the da-da-da? And I was like, nah, like 2019. He's like, what? I was like, But then again, it's like, oh, yeah, the very large Asian with the green hair, it's not very hard to like this. Oh, went to the Ben Nye booth to get Miss some powders. I like that they gave me this little bag. And then, so, I get the powder that's my color, and one of these do fucking hickeys, right? It's good for you. Well, and then I get this, because it's Paul's color, and I don't really have, like, a color that's exactly his. Usually it's too light, because in the makeup industry, they see people with darker complexion, they're like, what? Anyway, so I got his. But funny enough, so this, didn't realize this till after I got back. So this has more powder than this, right? Kind of makes sense, right? Kind of makes sense. But this costs more than this, because this has the sifty doohickey, and you have it in the compacty dingamajigger, and then this is just the bottle. And I'm just like, it's like, okay, well, if that was the case, because I wanted a small one of this, and they didn't have the half size, they just had this. I said, fuck it. It's not like, I'm going to need powder. I'm going to be besties with this guy for the rest of my life, and he is going to be my model for life, so why not have this? But if that was the case, I could have just bought this version of this as well, just to be easy, but I was like, I just need a small thing. I end up using this more for myself, could have just switched it. Like, this is things you learn later on, again, nothing's gonna go to waste. I just wasn't, I wasn't girl bossing my, my purchases as smartly as, English is going down the drain, anyway. So that's just my own fault. But yeah, oh, I got sculpting tools, because when I was sculpting, this is loud, when I was sculpting, like, Paul's prosthetic, one of my sculpting tools broke. Because this is so loud. I was being too fucking rough with it. So, you know, anyway. So, I got these, like, the clay cards. These are, I think these are 3D printed. It's kind of cool now that, like, artists can just, like, 3D print their tools now. So, you know, they can just make them real quick. You know, this so you can, like, scrap it, you know, and stuff. I got this doohickey. It's, oh god, have to be like makeup influencer, so I can like make like pores and all that stuff a little bit better. I have like a really super ghetto way of doing that right now, and I won't talk about that. But yeah, I have this. I have a raking tool, which should help me when, you know, I rake things. You know, was it using what? Using either end of the tool, always using in a crisscross, blah blah blah, desire to get help, ensure more even surfaces. Yeah, that's, never had one of these to do the even surface thing. So I didn't have the raking part. I just used like a different kind of sculpting tool, and just this is how the thing broke. Okay, anyway, and then I got medium-sized sculpting tools. They're double-ended, right? So yeah, the raking tool is double-handed as well. But anyway, yeah. And I got the different ones. Oh, I gotta do the makeup influencer thing again. But yeah, these, like, what I like about these kind of tools is that, oh, you can look closely at if you could see. Nope. Hello, Dolly. Hello, friend. Anyway, they're not smooth. They're kind of like, you know, wrapped around like that. So when you're kind of scripting at clay, it kind of like pills up in like in its own little ball, and you can like pull it off with the tool, whereas before it would just kind of like get in the way. Like, I don't know how to describe it. If you know what I'm talking about, this is what sculpting looks like to me. Anyway, so got that, which is good. So that was my purchases for the weekend. And then yeah, so that was Saturday. You know, lots of buying supplies, lots of schmoozing and all that stuff, lots of, you know, seeing, you know, old faces and whatever stuff. So it was cool. And then Sunday, you know, I had Paul wear his Candyman costume again because, you know, it was a costume I put together last minute a few, like, years ago, and it's been a really great, like, put that shit in the bag and pop it on. Like, I've been wanting to do more of these kind of, like, easy costumes, I call it. It still takes a lot of time to, like, make the costume, all this stuff, but it's easy because you literally just put it on, you head out the door. Kind of like my Chrome Skull costume, kind of like how, you know, once I get the costume I was trying to do for, this past con, would be another, like, easy costume. I just want to do more of those. I think, like, technically my Velma costume is easy because, yeah, I just got put on a face, but even then, it's like, compared to normal, it's like I gotta do a prosthetic, or it's like, you know what I mean, like, harder stuff where I don't have to, like, strap 6-foot wings, where I don't have to, like, pay oversized, you know, baggage, you know, like stuff where, like, I always say, if you could just plop it all into a backpack and head out the door, that's what I mean. But anyway, so yeah, had Paul on his Candyman costume. Of course, great reception. You know, not a lot of people really dress as Candyman anyway. You know, it's always great to have him dressed as Candyman. He's just, you know, he gets all the attention and it's fine. So then I met Skeet Ulrich finally, because rewind to Horror Hound, where him and Matthew Lillard were right next to one another, and I spent the entire day like, I am gonna get in this line for Matthew Lillard, you know, give me that fucking twink, you know. Oh my. Yeah, after I was in that line for Matthew Lillard, I just had no energy to, like, give a fuck, to just, I was like, let's go, I'm tired, let's go to dinner. I was just like, I'm done. Plus, it's like, I had entered Paul into the costume contest for Horror Hound, so it's like, there was, you know, time was money, and I wanted to eat, I'm fat, you know? So, got to meet Skeet Ulrich, super, super fucking nice, of course, you know? I didn't know what else to say to him, I was just kind of quiet, and because it's like also the people in front of me in line, they were very nice, they were also very young, but they were just like the, oh my god, yeah, they were like a giggly mess, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, believe me, okay? Like, I met Alex Ross and I was just a bumbling idiot, like, oh, I'm going to art school right now and I like your art and you do art, you know, just like, oh my god, girl. They were just so like, oh, no. So I think, like, just to balance that out. I was just like, hey, what's up? Yeah, you just signed next to Matthew's signature. Cool. All right, picture. He was very warm. Like, I'm not trying to be like a creep and be like, oh, honey, he hot. I mean, yes, but like we were like, okay, you know, Christian side hug and all that stuff. And I was just like, geez, like, the amount of heat that was given off this man's body. I'm like, you a thin man. You giving off big boy like heat off of that body. I'm like, all right, Jesus Christ. I'm like, you know. Like, what the hell is, oh my god, my fat is melting off. Actually, no, come on. Melt some of this fat. Anyway, let's get over it. Super nice. There was a woman, who, you know, like, saw, you know, the Candyman costume, you know, the ribs, all that stuff. She's like, oh, ask Paul, like, if she could touch it. He's like, yeah. So she's kind of, like, touching it. And she was just like, oh my god, she's like, that's so amazing. And then, you know, the usual thing, which is they'll ask him, like, oh, did you do this yourself? And then, you know, he's very much like, no, like, no, like, I model friend, my friend did it kind of stuff, which, that's why I love the guy, great bestie. And she was just like, do you have, like, a booth here? And I was like, no, I've been trying since, like, 2017, 2018, like, for a while. Even when I was still in retail, I was like, I gotta get a booth if I can, you know. And it's hard because it's like their wait list is like forever. And even when I email them to be on the wait list, they're like, no, you don't understand. Our wait list has a wait list of, you know. And I'm just like, and I told the lady, I was like, no, I'm sorry. She's like, you need to get on it. I was like, okay, do you understand? It's like really hard. She's like, just get it. She's like, get a booth. You need a booth. I was like, oh my god, ma'am. It's like, you need a booth. People need to see this shit. I was like, oh my god. You know, I mean, I enjoyed the enthusiasm, but I felt like I was being screamed at by like a Long Island mom for a second, not minus the accent. Mine's like, you need to get a booth, Eddie, don't you understand? You know, minus the accent. You know, she was just more like, oh my god, like very like happy and amazed by my work, which thank you, because I need that, because god, like I said, Saturday I was a wreck. I was like a wreck. The fact that I was able to like go and like do purchases and meet celebs and like talk to people and not just be like, what, you know, because I kind of was like that in my head. I was just very much just like, this has to be good, you know. I was like, I didn't come last year, this makeup was supposed to be done for 2020. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. But anyway, yeah. Oh god. Quickly before my camera dies, as always. So I forgot to mention cutting this in between towards the end. So on Sunday there was a crazy religious nut that was outside of the convention, you know, with a like a mic and a speaker, being like, Jesus this, Jesus that. Anyway, apparently, according to someone who I was talking to outside, this happens every year. This is the first time I've ever witnessed it. Anyway, I heckled the guy because everyone around seemed to be very annoyed by him and was like giving the finger, and it's like, no. I know how to handle crazy. I'm crazy myself. I know how to handle crazy. So I heckled him. I laughed at him. You know, I said some shit back to him. And at one point he started repeating himself. I told him he was repeating himself. Anyway,
Chucky says, want to play, but Jesus Christ says, want to pray. Jesus wants to build out the Bible that Satan's going to be cast into hell too.
What? What?
If you support Satan, you support rape. Because
no, he doesn't.
Rape.
Satan is against rape, you dumb cunt.
Satan is supporting rape, pedophilia, murder. It's true.
Mortar or murder? Which one?
Evil. Satan supports everything that's evil.
No, he doesn't, you dumb bitch.
Guys, you got to. When I almost went to hell from a drug overdose, God told me I would have went there. Unless I repent and get right with them.
Sounds like some shit drugs you were on.
Me in the vision, guys. And Jesus died on the cross and rose. That's how we tell time.
What?
That's literally how we tell time.
What?
You can look at
what?
Right, it's literal fact. AD.
You know, I probably recorded about 10 plus minutes of the BS, you know, of it happening. About 25 minutes of it actually happened or so. Anyway, security pretty much told him to leave at one point, which was good because, like, you know, it's Monsterpalooza, we're all having fun, it's monsters, like, chill the fuck out, man, you know. But so that was Monsterpalooza 2023. I'm glad I'm back going to that con. I love going there every year. I love seeing the people. I love seeing, you know, kind of like the same people, you know, the schmooze and the talk and the cool stuff. You know, one year maybe I'll have like a booth, a table or whatever. Obviously I'll bring Masami, you know, with, you know, and us will just be the crazy Asians with the weird art and all that stuff. But, I don't know, just I hope. It's just so hard because they're such a small, like they are very, they get these big names, but they are not a corporate convention kind of thing. They're not Reed Pop, you know what I mean? Like they're just like these people who put it together, this thing twice a year, you know? So like, you know, unless I want to like do Son of Monster Con and maybe get in that way, but like I got shit in September too, so I think this year it's gonna be in like October actually. I think it's the same weekend as Comic Con. Ooh, okay, I'm stressed. I'm sweating. Anyway, that's it. Monsterpalooza 2023. I am tired.